Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for checking out this video. But right now, I just need to see if anyone else is seeing what I see. If they're connecting the dots and they see a pattern of troubling things going on, not only here in the United States where I'm at, but around the world. And I'm just going to come right out and say it. We are losing our freedoms one by one by one. Now, a lot of people are not looking at the big picture like I am, but from what I can see, we are losing our freedoms, and we're becoming more of an authoritative country. And from what I can see, it's going on all around the world, and people are just letting it happen. And I'm not feeling this at all. So let me explain what I'm talking about. First off, they locked us in our homes for more than a year. More than a year, you could not go out. And if you did, you would get arrested. If you own a small business, a lot of those businesses were closed because you just couldn't work. They told you to shut your doors. If you tried to open your business, you got arrested or you got fined. Do you know how many businesses had to go bankrupt and go out of business because of that? You know, thousands of businesses, and they have not recovered. That's number one. Number two, we have all of these mandatory vaccines now. Mandatory vaccines. Now, I know a lot of people are fine with that. They think it's for the good of the country and the world. And it's the same thing with the lockdowns. They think it's okay. They think it's fine. I don't think it's fine. I do not think it's fine. Now with these vaccines, they're telling you that if you're not fully vaccinated, you can't go to certain schools, you can't travel, you can't go into certain businesses. I even saw an article today about a landlord in Florida saying if you're not fully vaccinated, you can't move into any of his apartments. And if you already live there and want to sign a new lease, you must show that you are fully vaccinated. You have doctors who are saying they're not going to work with you unless you're fully vaccinated. So I'm seeing all this different stuff out here, and it's making me really uncomfortable. And it seems as though if you don't do what they tell you to do, then you're just out of luck. And that makes me really uncomfortable. Now, here's the one that really, really bothers me. And it is a new plan by the current administration here in the United States that says if you have more than $600 in your bank account, the banks will monitor every single transaction and report it to the IRS. Every purchase you make, every cash deposit, every cash withdrawal will be reported to the IRS. Why they gotta do that? What is the purpose of that? Why do you need to know every single transaction that someone does? So, some people are going to be fine with that too. I have a problem with all of this because if you look at the entire picture, they are slowly taking your rights away. They can lock you in your home. They can prevent you from going certain places unless you're fully vaccinated. And now they are saying we're going to monitor every single transaction that you make from your bank account if you have an account over $600. And I have a problem with that. So my question to everyone out there, I made a video like this before, at what point do you say, okay, you're overstepping your bounds as a country, as a government, and you got to step back because you are taking away our freedoms? This is a major wake-up call, because one thing that people may or may not know is a lot of countries are looking to create what's called a central bank digital currency. And with that currency, it's going to be created by central banks all over the world. They're going to all have their own central bank digital currency, or they call it CBDCs. And they will be able to deposit money directly into your bank account. But here's the kicker though. They can deposit that money and they can take it out just as easily. They can take it, they can put it in, they can take it out, and they can monitor everything you do with that money. Now, here's the part that really concerns me. They can restrict how you spend that digital currency. They can restrict how you spend that digital currency. And they are working on this right now. China has it, I think the Bahamas has it, and other countries are starting to build that digital currency. Now, if you look at everything that I just described, they are slowly taking away our freedoms, and this is a major concern that everyone needs to stand up and say, okay, y'all got to stop doing this because you are taking away our rights and our freedoms. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be fine with this. They have no problem with being locked down for a year and a half. They have no problem with small businesses being closed because of the pandemic, because of the virus. They have no problem getting fully vaccinated. They have no problem proving that they've been fully vaccinated so they can go into certain stores and nightclubs and go to certain schools and travel. They got no problem with that. Are you not going to have a problem with them being able to monitor your bank account too? $600, and they can track everything you do, buy and sell. They can track how much you take out, how much cash you take out of that account, and it's going to be reported to the IRS. What are they going to do with that information? Why do they need that information? They don't need that information. They're saying they're going to do it for tax purposes. What else can you tax at this point? We're already taxed enough as it is. So this is a major concern for me. So if you don't have a fully vaccinated, you can't work in a lot of industries now. They are doing so much to limit your freedoms and restrict you. Freedom of choice is what I thought we were all about. If you don't want to get the vaccine, don't get the vaccine. You cannot force people to do that. Now, again, a lot of people are going to be fine with this, but I'm not one of them. Are you okay with all of this? Are you okay with them taking your freedoms and limiting what you can do unless you meet certain conditions in this manner? And the funny thing about the vaccine, it doesn't even stop the transmission of the virus. It doesn't even stop the transmission. And a lot of people will come out and say, well, back in the day we had mandatory vaccines and no one, complained. Why complain now? Well, back then, those mandatory vaccines for things like the measles, mumps, chickenpox, and polio, they stopped the transmission of the virus in their tracks. And you couldn't get it if you got vaccinated. But with this vaccine, not only can you get it, you can spread it to other people and you can still possibly die from it. So all of this is just, something's not right here. Something is not right. And again, I want to hear what you think. If you're fine with the new restrictions on our lives, the mandates on our lives, let me know. I have no problem with that. I'm all about just open conversation. Let's talk about it. But if you feel the same way I do, I want to hear that too. And if you're okay with all of this, let me know at what point will you say, I think the government is overstepping their boundaries and they're becoming too authoritative. Let me know where your limit is. What is your line? What is your line in the sand to say, okay, you went too far? Because if you think about it, if you're in a relationship, you know up front if a person does one thing or they act a certain way, that's a deal breaker for you. We've all been there. We all have that one friend where we know if they try to borrow money from us, we're not going to do it. If they say certain things, we're going to end the friendship, or you're going to let them know, you're going to check them and say, hey, you can't do that. What's the breaking point? What's the limit for what our government can do to us? Because from what I can see, they are pushing that line and pushing that line, and before you know it, you're going to look up and be like, oh, I can't do nothing. They got me locked in my house. I can't do nothing. If I don't get vaccinated, I can't go anywhere. I can't work. And then on top of that, if you speak out, the cancel culture is going to get you. And they're going to go to your job and try to get you fired. So a lot of people even afraid to speak out. This is ridiculous. I'm not feeling this at all. I'm ranting right now, and I just got to get this out. And people can agree or disagree. I'm perfectly fine with that. Let me know what you think, but something's not right. And even if you think I'm just way off base, all I ask you to do is let me know, what is your line in the sand? At what point can you say, okay, they going too far, I'm not feeling this? If you okay with the government monitoring your bank account, everything you do in your bank account, and you're okay with that, Let me know that too, because something is not right. I'm not feeling none of this, and at some point people are going to have to stand up and say, okay, enough's enough, because at this point it's like it's only going to get worse. I remember back in 2020 we couldn't wait for 2021 to get here, and now I'm thinking, oh God, 2022 is going to be worse. And I think it will be worse because now we got supply shortages and inflation is just going crazy. So let's talk about this, people, because I'm not feeling this, and I think it's only going to get worse if we don't speak up and let them know that they're doing too much. Peace.